morning, everyone. Welcome to JVS Job Seekers. I'm very excited to have you join us this morning. My name is Elisa Udaskin, and I'm a director here at JVS Metro West Jewish Vocational Service, and we're located in East Orange, New Jersey and Montclair, New Jersey. So I always start by telling you a little bit about JVS. JVS started in 1939, and our mission and our goal and everything we do is to help people overcome barriers to finding employment. We have a lot of different services that we offer people, and I encourage you to go to our website, jbsnj.org, to check out our services and for yourself or for others to see if we can be of service to you. So this morning, I'm very delighted to welcome our guest speaker. You know what I forgot to say? I forgot to say the part about JVS Job Seekers is generously sponsored by the Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West and by Project M, and we thank them so much for their generosity and support so that we are able to offer these webinars and these series free of charge. Okay, so now take 3. This morning, I'm very delighted to introduce our guest speaker, Alex Freund. Alex is known as the landing expert, and he helps his clients improve their interview performance by reducing their fear, enabling them to feel confident throughout the process. For the last 19 years, Alex has helped more than 1,800 clients ranging from managers to CEOs across various industries. Alex volunteers and is active in several job search networking groups where he occasionally presents. I want to turn it over now and welcome Alex. Over to you.
Thank you so much. You guys have no idea how excited I am making such presentations, and I'll tell you why. I know for a fact, in an hour from now, you will walk away with significantly more knowledge about what you need, and that is improving your job search, hopefully will lead for you to get a job. So I'm always very, very excited. I have done in the last 20 years, 25 different presentations. And when I was asked by Elisa, which one would you like to present, it was a little difficult to select the one that I think provides you the most value. So I thought this presentation is the one that probably I can share with you a lot of value in an hour. So let me start. Again, the topic is branding for landing. Let me continue. I was several years ago invited by Lynn Williams to Pennsylvania to one of her groups. And so we always start with introducing yourself and so forth. And I say, look, your danger is that you look like everybody else. You need to be different. So we go around in the room, then all of a sudden, totally caught, much to my surprise, this lady jumped on the side table there and delivered her elevator pitch. I asked permission if she allows me to take a picture of her, and she said yes, so this is a picture. But when I said, you need to be different, oh my God, she became, and she very different. So anyhow, so let's get into my presentation. There are 2 steps to landing a job. Step number 1, you need to get selected for an interview from a pool of highly qualified candidates. I did not tell you anything new. You know, you apply. That's good. Guess what? Many, many people apply for the same position. I read somewhere that for an average position in America, and again, that's a mathematical average, you have 250 people apply. What does that mean? Some positions get 17 applications. Some positions get 1,500, but on the average. So again, you are competing against a huge pool of applicants. So first, you need to be selected from those that apply. The next step is, it's an interview. You need to outperform the other candidates in the interview. That's the only way you get a job. So Let's focus on personal branding. Good question, why is personal branding so important? And what I say, forgive me for leaning forward, I have a small screen above me. In the past, after losing their job, people would distribute their updated resume, but with little success. Do you agree with me? I know that's what I did. Friday I was terminated. Over the weekend I polished my resume, and Monday I was ready to give it out to people. That's what most people do. However, it doesn't bring a lot of success. Yeah, they connect with past coworkers and other networkers, but that is not effectual. That doesn't really help you. This is what everybody does. It doesn't bring the good results. What happens here is that these were emotional reaction to the new reality of not having a job. Oh my God, on a Friday you're terminated and you are very energized over the weekend and very emotional, and you are ready Monday to attack the world because you need a job. You know you need a job, and whatever it takes, you do that. Unfortunately, this approach doesn't help you a lot. So what I'm saying here is the right way to start a job search is similar to project management. You need to plan. Upfront planning, then execution. So how to start the job search properly? Here are several steps. Please pay attention. I'm going to go through these steps one by one. First, you need to gather self-awareness inputs from your value proposition. I will deal with the term value proposition. This is a term that many people use. They don't know what they're saying. I'm going to get into it. But my point is, you really need to be very exact and precise. What do you do in your job search? That's step number one. Gather information about yourself. Step number two, you need to create your value proposition. Identify the sequential, it's important. It has to have a certain sequence. Identify the sequential steps that make up your value proposition. I'm going to go through what are the 4 steps of the value proposition. Step number 1, what is it that you do? If I'm asking any of you, I am certain you can give me an answer. I'm also certain you'll keep rambling and you'll keep talking and talking and talking because you haven't narrowed it down to make it precise, short, in a way that the other people remember. Step number 2, you need to answer to this. Who are the customers you serve? Well, it's easy. These are clearly my customers. At the other end, these are clearly not my customers. The problem is, between the left and the right, you have what I call a no man's land. These are people that you say, well, they're a little bit, well, sometimes they're my customers. So this is what the difficulty is. You have a lot of people in between, yes, my customer, no, my customer, and you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your time if you try to deal with the people that occasionally they're customers. So you need to divide who are our customers and who are not the customers. Question number 3 becomes a little more difficult. And here is something that Warren Buffett said. And he said, price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Okay, so the question here is, what value those customers get from you? By the way, this is very difficult to answer, and I'll tell you why. Because you think with your head. Not good. You need to think with your customer's head, and that's very difficult. And I work with a coach on this, on the value proposition, and I remember vividly. He said, Alex, take off the top of your skull, take your brain out, put it on a shelf, and put somebody else's brain in your skull. Now start thinking. And they said, but I can do that. But he said, this is what you have to do. Your opinion doesn't count. Their opinion is everything. And by the way, this is very difficult. So this is step number 3. What value do those customers get from you? And the last step is, what do your customers perceive as unique and advantageous about you? In other words, why should I work with you and not with somebody else? You have competition. Why should they come to you? So these are the 4 legs of this 4-legged stool, forgive me, 4 legs of the value proposition. Okay, so let's move on. The next step is, again, we are now at step number 3. Identify your strongest personal brand attributes.
I'm sorry, Alex.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there are some questions I think we could maybe clarify a couple things before we move
absolutely.
on.
Absolutely.
So you're using the word customer here. And so, but so for job seekers, who is the customer? Is the customer the person who's interviewing you, the organization, the company?
The answer is yes, all of the above.
Okay,
Plus, you may want to consider people that may help you in the future. These are friends, these are cousins, these are neighbors,
right.
these are others. So the answer is yes to all. All these could potentially be customers, and your communication with them essentially has to be good.
Okay, so then again, just to reiterate, because there were some questions in the chat, we're using the word customer here. You could also say audience, you could say stakeholder, you could say any of these words. So Alex is using a business term, customer. And so as everybody is listening to Alex here, think about you're creating your personal brand and how you're going to communicate when you're going an interview, when you're meeting someone at a barbecue, when you're reaching out to someone, when you're communicating on LinkedIn, all of those audiences. Okay.
Yeah,
It's not only if you're in sales. And so thank you, Alex. Please continue.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
wanted to clarify the word customer.
People you serve
Yes.
or support, let's use the word customer. Yeah, but you can
It's totally
replace it.
fine. We were just, some people thought it was just more narrow
Absolutely.
about
Please
sales.
stop me anytime. Please stop me
Keep going.
anytime.
Keep going.
Okay, so again, you need to identify your brand attributes. You are a brand, you need to accept that. And it has all kind of attributes. You need to identify which are the strongest. The next step, step number 4, now you start with your marketing. Marketing is an umbrella word that covers many, many things. Pricing, blogs, print, advertising, publicity. Again, it's an umbrella word to contain various words that we are very familiar with. But I'm trying to create some order here in how you're going out there to look for a job. Once you have done your marketing, now we go to the next step. Now it's advertising. Advertising is something we see whether we want or not on the television all the time. I cannot stand it, but it's very effective. Now, here is where the problem is. People don't put this in the right order. Most people fail because they start with step number 5, the advertising. You remember what I said a few minutes ago? That Friday you are terminated and Monday you're ready to advertise. You have a piece of paper called resume and you start sending it out and pushing it in other people's hands. So that's wrong. You are not following the steps that I recommended that you follow. So the steps are this. But you can read it. It's very small on my screen. I cannot read it here. But you can see it. You can follow. Now, if these steps are done correctly, you'll have a leg up on the others who jumped into the job search haphazardly. Why did I put this slide here? This is evidence that I do have a sense of humor. A leg up, I use the word leg up. That's the reason I put it here. But again, you have an advantage. If you follow these steps, you have an advantage over the other people. Now, here is my first stop because I dumped on you a lot of new information. I want to stop here and give you an opportunity to ask me any questions relevant to what we did so far. By the way, I will have one more stop, and then at the end, you have another
Thank you.
opportunity.
Okay, so I think so we have Jean has a question, and then James, can you just write your question in the chat, please? Okay, and then Jean, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. I think first of all, thank you for bringing this so needed sequence of planning strategy to us. I think what I found the most challenging is the self-discovery part. What we started by saying that gather information about oneself. Now, outside of maybe the last role we had and maybe the resume that we have to dust off, what kind of information, or at least if you could share some example of information we should be looking for when we are guiding the material, like on step one, if you want to follow the sequence properly.
Okay, to summarize what I understood, you're asking what specific information your resume has to have in order to be effective. Am I correct?
No, but you started the sequence by the self-discovery about we should gather information about ourselves. And I was wondering, like, what would that entail?
Okay, that's very easy. If I were to meet with you at Starbucks and I ask you, so tell me, what do you like to do? What part of the work do you like to do? Would you be able to answer?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be able to say something, that's for sure.
Okay, but that's something probably is not complete because that's something that you just bring up from the top of your head. My
Absolutely.
point is you need to do your homework. You look, if you are not clear what you want and what you like, how do you think that somebody else can help you if you are not clear? So you need to make it clear what is what you like, what is what you're good at, and what is what you don't do. For example, let's say you no longer need to travel 2.5 hours one way to Manhattan to have a job. You need a job locally, something like that. Or you may say, one of the things that I really identified in my career, I really enjoy working with people. I'm an extrovert. I get so much happiness, so much joy being able to contribute. And being in my office for 8 hours watching my laptop is not giving me that happiness. So you need to search and get a job where you de facto you are able to be in groups, you're able to be in meetings, and you can contribute. That's a strength. So these are the type of attributes that you need to identify upfront, and you need to be very clear on that. You need to want what you want and not things that you don't want to commute or you don't want to travel, 40% of your week being out of the home. Again, you need to be clear what you want and what you like.
Yeah, thank you. That's clear. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, James, did you want to ask your question?
Pardon me. Yes, I wrote it in the chat. I'm here. So, you know what? As I was sitting here thinking, I kind of ended up answering my own question, and you kind of covered it yourself. When you strive for what I wanted to know is in regards to the 5-step process you brought up. When you receive an offer, should whether it be the amount of money they're going to pay you, the amount of time the job wants you to work, should any of that, my question was, should it being full-time or part-time, minimum wage or well above your minimum wage, should any of that influence the 5 steps?
Well, yeah. I don't want to mix the two. I understand your question. You need to be very clear what is what you want. Do you must have a full-time job or you can do it part-time job? Do you have to have a certain level of income versus jobs that are available, but it's half of what you used to make, and so forth. So I'm not sure if I'm answering precisely your question, but you need to be clear what you're after. If I may say, that's what my answer is. And I'm not sure, I'm a little hesitant whether I gave you the right answer.
You definitely I understand. You got it.
Okay, perfect. Why don't we continue, Alex?
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so the question at this point is, what is your challenge? And what I'm saying is, all qualified applicants look very similar to one another. So how do the hiring manager decide? This is a very acute, this is a very important point here. I am not going to get it deeper into this, but at one point in my career, I received an offer and I was told by the HR director, they gave me the offer and not somebody else because 3 days after the interview, I sent them, she said, a very unusual and strong thank you letter. A thank you letter changed the trajectory of my career. They gave me that job because I sent a great thank you letter. So again, I hired many, many people in my career, and I can tell you, very often it happened to me that I was very frustrated. Should I hire Mary or should I hire Jane? Should I hire Peter or should I hire George? Because I have only one opening, but 2 people are fantastic. So don't be in that predicament that the decision about hiring you is just hinges on a hair thin issue. You need clearly to become clearly number 1 candidate. Otherwise, you're in danger zone. Okay? Now, the differentiator is your brand. Your brand differentiates you from the other people. Your brand is the impression you make, what you're known for, and what people think about you. I'll get a little more deeper into what I mean here. Here are a few icons, symbols, whatever. Coca-Cola, Google, Disney, GE, Mercedes-Benz. Now, look at that little sign on the lower right corner, Mercedes-Benz. What comes to your mind? Can anybody tell me if I show you that Mercedes-Benz logo? Please chime in. What comes to your mind? The first thing that comes to your mind.
Quality.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, guys. Thank you. And I'll read them out.
Yeah. Just 1 or 2.
Quality, money, luxury car, engineering, the Janis Joplin
Yeah.
song.
Very
Luxury.
clearly. That's right. This little logo evokes exactly what you just wrote in the chat. When I see this and when I speak about this, I always say something that I learned. It sounds like this. Nobody drives a Mercedes because they just need a car. People buy a Mercedes, they put a lot of money into it for many, many other reasons. Okay. People tend to relate to others that they know, like, and trust. Do you agree with me? You hire people that you trust because if you don't trust the other person, even if they're fantastic, most likely you will not hire them. You need to like, and that's a very deep subject. But I guarantee you one thing, you walk down the street and you see people on the street, and in your brain, you look at somebody and your brain says, I like this person. And you never met, you never talked to this person. But there is something about that person that you like. And the other side of the spectrum is you look at the person and for any reason, you just don't like it. I know one thing. People, if they don't like you for any reason, chances are you will not be hired. Okay. Hiring managers evaluate your personality and cultural fit into their organization. I was a hiring manager for many, many years. And yes, I took into consideration if I were to hire you, How will you fit into my organization? For the sake of argument, let's say I am leading an organization, a young organization, let's call it a startup. The youngest is 23, the oldest is 32. It's just an example. Now you show up, I don't know your age, but clearly you are closer to 60 than to 55. Do you think you'll fit into my organization? No. The 23-year-old person will have a difficulty relating to you. That's the way it is. So cultural fit is very important, and also personality. How and when do they reveal your personality? During the interview. Most likely, your LinkedIn profile and your resume will not have a lot of characteristics about your personality. But when I invite you to my office for an interview, before you leave, I can share what I think about you and your personality because I learned something about you. Okay, so let's talk about how to develop your brand. Remember, we had a value proposition. Now we talk about the brand. The brand answers to 3 questions. Who are you? What you do? You remember that what you do was the first thing in the value proposition. And why does it matter? So these are the 3 elements that make up your brand. So let's get deeper into it. I am using my brand. First question, who are you? I'm a career coach specializing in interview preparation. I'm known as a landing expert. I gave you enough information what I want you to know about me. I didn't ramble, I made it very short, I think very clear. Next question, what do? I help people in transition and those contemplating a career change prepare for job interview. Do you understand what I do? Is there any doubt in your mind what I do? I make it very clear, very concise, but nobody told me this is very confusing. Why does it matter? Why does it matter to them? While interviewing, my clients feel prepared, confident, and relaxed. So very concisely, very briefly, I created my own brand.
Alex,
Yeah, now we are at the
perfect.
second step. Yeah.
Perfect. So can you please go back to the last slide? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So this is what I call the money slide on from your presentation so far, because we've been wanting to hear what is a brand. So if everyone can write these questions down for themselves and work on answering them in a very concise way. This takes work and it pays off very big dividends. This is what everybody, when I coach my clients, I say is your homework. So I would say, I don't give homework in JVS Job Seekers, but this would be your homework. Who are you? You know, Alex is, I am a career coach specializing in interview preparation. I am known as a landing expert. So for you, who are you? I am an IT specialist known for re-engineering and accomplishing difficult tasks. I'm just making up a bad example, but okay. What do? I help people in transition, those contemplating a career change. So again, use your example. And then why does it matter to them? And the them is the customer, the client, the audience. It's the company you're interviewing with. It's the person you're networking with. Okay. So we're not going to be, I know we always get this question, we're not going to be emailing this presentation. There will be a recording available. So I really encourage everyone to, you can either, I encourage everyone to write these 3 questions down. Okay. Who are you? Answer it in one really, really quick sentence. What do? Answer it in one really quick sentence. And why does it matter to them? Answer it in a quick sentence. Okay. And then you practice it and practice it. And this starts the conversation. And then they will, the takeaway is they're going to know who you are. And this is your brand. We had a couple questions coming through the chat through the earlier part. Do I need a logo? Do I need this? You need a logo if you're starting your own business and you want to create that. But, you know, your brand is your tone of voice when you are communicating on LinkedIn. Your brand is who you are and things like that. Let me see if there are any other questions now. Okay. But Alex, I love this page and I would love everybody to do their homework and to do this exercise. Okay.
I want to add that
Go.
why answering these questions this long is not very difficult. Answering it this short, like it's here, it's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not easy.
Yeah. And that's why you can also have that, and that's why we're encouraging you to spend your time up front on this, and you will use it all the time. All the time. I know somebody's asking again if the presentation is going to be shared. No. The recording will be. Okay, so we have a couple of questions. So I'm just going to read them, okay? And if I get the question wrong, then please, the person who's asked it, jump in. Okay, so Jennifer Jeffrey, what qualities are likable in an interview? How do you show trust in an interview? So Alex, I think this is to your point when you were saying that the likability and trust, that's kind of subjective. Like, what do you mean by that? And how do you do that?
Yeah, okay. You can see me on your screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think about this guy here?
I don't think you're very approachable. You don't look very happy.
Yeah, now, how about if I'm like this and I look forward and I lean forward and I talk to you, is this something that you like? Most likely more than when I sit like here and I say, why are you bothering me? You know what? So being likable, I don't have a formula how to become likable, but you need to be charismatic, smile a lot. And I'm telling you, when I work with my clients, evoking a smile, it's so difficult because it's tension. When I work with people, I ask them difficult questions. And the first thing that goes when you are tense is your smile. It's very, very difficult to be under a lot of pressure and they smile at the same time. It's very difficult. But what I say to all my clients, when you interview, it's nothing less than being on Broadway on stage. I'm not in the business of changing your personality. I'm in the business of changing your performance for 1 hour. That's called an interview. And yes, you need to smile, you need to be charismatic. I want to say something that I'm a little in danger zone. Go
Don't say
back,
it. Don't
go.
say it. Then don't say it.
It's fair. It's fair.
Okay.
When
So,
you when you were in your high school and you wanted to go out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, did you know how to behave? I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. That's what you need to do here as well. You know how to become likable. I don't need to teach you that.
yeah. So what I would say to that, and maybe is just to add on that is, when you're going for an interview, or even if you're meeting a new person, or if you're going to a networking event or anything like that, you're going to be nervous, right? And you also, maybe something just happened. Maybe somebody, when you were driving to go somewhere, was honking like crazy or cut you off in the car, and you're like rattled and you're not happy. The best thing to do before you're about to do that interaction is to shake it all off and just stay in the moment and just try to, like, if someone just cut you off and in line, or someone was rude to you, or something happened, or your computer wasn't working, anything like that, try to shake it all off so that you're in the moment and you're showing up as your best version of yourself. And you're showing up, that's your brand, is your best version of yourself when you're having that interaction. And that, I think, is more about, like, the likability piece of it. It will be more about making a connection with someone, but you need to be more calm and centered yourself.
Yeah. Alicia,
Okay.
when you talked about drivers, you meant New Jersey driver, right?
Yes. 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 New Jersey drivers and all the turnabout things that we have here. Okay. So, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, but Natinya Bhatt. How does one differentiate their resume to land the interview in the first place when everyone uses AI to edit theirs? So how do you differentiate your resume to land the interview in the first place when everyone uses AI?
That's an excellent question. I attended lately many, many AI AI topic presentation by many people. And this was exactly the question I asked a presenter. If all these resumes are aided, helped by AI, how do you differentiate? I have to raise my hand and said, I don't know. I am not at the employer's end. But they have a very difficult time because all resumes, or most resumes nowadays, most likely are very good because AI helped them create it. So I
Yeah.
apologize. I can't give you a better answer.
I can address that. So here's the thing. You can't. Okay? You can't. And that's why we always recommend that applying online, just simply that being the only activity you do, taking your resume, applying all the keywords and whatever, and applying online cannot be the only thing you do when you're applying for a job. It is so critical and vital to try to network and find someone at the company after you've applied so that you can basically you want to be top of mind. You want people to know who you are. And just to the point of the question that and what Alex said earlier, there could be like 1,000 people who just hit easy apply on LinkedIn and sent in their resume, and you can't differentiate or break through that way. So that's just one thing that you do in a job search, but it is so critical to network, to reach out, and tying back to the topic of this presentation, branding yourself. That's why it's really important to brand yourself on LinkedIn and to be top of mind, and is also your tone of voice, what you're posting, what you're commenting on, so that when you do apply to a job, one of the first things the recruiters are going to do is take a look at your LinkedIn profile and check you out, and then they'll get a sense of who you are. So there is the answer. So Alex, is you can't differentiate yourself.
I want to
Yeah.
expand a little bit about branding yourself. These are
Yeah.
two words you used. Branding yourself is not only on LinkedIn and resume.
Mm-hmm.
Branding yourself is 24/7. I can guarantee you, you will never see me inappropriately dressed when I'm outside my house. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you come by my house and I work on my lawn, I'm not, dressed the way I'm now. But when I go to a networking meeting, I make sure I'm properly dressed. And I see my friend Carol is here with us. And Carol, I don't know if you remember, we had a meeting and a lawyer showed up. It was summer, it was hot. A lawyer showed up and he reminded me just the guys that work on my lawn. He was in a t-shirt, in shorts and flip-flops. And then when we stood up and he said he's a lawyer, I almost fainted. I mean, you are a lawyer and you come to a meeting like you are a schlepper, like you're cleaning my lawn? No. So, yes, always dress properly, always speak properly.
So, Alex, I'd like to share a story, and I'm glad that this all came up. I'm going to share something. I don't think I've shared this before with our group here. So, when I left Mondelez Kraft Nabisco Cadbury, all the same company, after being there for 20 years, I one of my friends who is a senior HR professional, but a good friend, he offered to meet me for coffee. I said, great. So he was meeting me on a Sunday morning at Panera for coffee. So I came, and he's a good friend of mine. And as we started talking, he said, Elisa, why you dressed like that? I was wearing yoga pants, no makeup, and a baseball cap. Okay. And I said, what are you talking about, Greg? I said, we're friends. It's Sunday morning and it's 8 a.m. I'm going to go for a walk after. And he said, it doesn't matter. He said, I know it's hard to get dressed properly every day. I know it's going to be hard because there's a lot of mixed emotions when you've just lost your job after 20 years at the same company. He said, but when you meet with someone, it doesn't matter that I'm your friend and you're comfortable with me. You need to be dressed. And he didn't mean in a suit and jacket. He meant just not wearing yoga pants with a baseball cap and this and that. And that really hit me hard. I was embarrassed. Not like really embarrassed because he was my friend, but I was embarrassed. And it made me really think moving forward every time, there are going to be days, there were days when I did not feel like showing up as my brand, as who I am. I didn't make, and so I would reschedule or not make an appointment if I wasn't feeling good. But then every single interaction I had that I had planned, I put so much effort into doing them and I wanted to leave a good impression. So I made sure that I was dressed properly. So I learned a lesson there, and I'm really glad that he was brave enough to call me on that and direct enough to call me on that because it's hard, right? Okay, Benjamin, do we have any questions anymore or no?
We have one from Sandra.
Okay, let me see the question. Hold on. Okay, Chandra Thomas. How do I network when it's difficult to find other people and companies? Okay. Do you want to answer that, Alex, or do you want me to?
Why don't you answer it? I
Okay.
speak enough.
Sure. Okay. How do I network when it's difficult to find other people and companies? Okay. So, Chandra, are you still on? Just tell me if you're on and we can talk.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on. Okay. So this is a very broad topic. I will answer a little bit, but let me tell you that we do have a lot of recordings on networking from JBS Job Seekers webinars. And so when I send out the email following this, you'll see the link and you can take a look at the networking ones. It's there are lots of different ways. Okay. Excuse me. There are just lots of different ways. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn, and it will be sending cold emails, and you can try different ways or cold messages to try to introduce yourself. It's about getting out there, join different local networking groups. That's a really good thing. And there are many people who join our JBS Job Seekers here who are part of networking groups. And you go to those, and it starts with one, then you're introduced to another person, then you're introduced to another person. And actually, people are putting in the chat some great tips. Thank you, Mark. There's meetup.com. If other people who are listening, who are on the webinar right now, want to put more tips in the chat, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I want
Thank you.
to add to that.
Yes.
And I will be nice to you guys. And here's my offer that I do often. I have very, very huge number of people that I'm connected on LinkedIn. So here's my offer to you. If, let's say, you find a company that you want to get into and you don't know anybody inside, but you want to talk with them, here is what I suggest. First of all, you and I need to be connected on the first level. If you ask that I connect with you, please mention to me that you were on this presentation. So once you and I are connected first level, you have access to my first level connections. It is very possible I have someone inside that company. So here is a procedure. You write me an email and you say, jokingly, I say, don't say hi, Alex. Say, dear Alex. If you say, dear Alex, I'm so much nicer to you. So say, dear Alex, I would like to talk to John Doe at XYZ company. I want to do that because I want to ask John about M, N, and O, or X, Y, or whatever. Then you send me that email. I immediately look up on my connection on LinkedIn, and because I'm first level connection with him or her, I have access to their email. So I take your email that you sent to me, I forward it to this person, and I say, dear John, Carol is my friend. I would love to be able to help her. Would you do me a personal favor and help her? And I send it. Now, I have to tell you, based on years of experience, 50% people just ignore me. 50% are very nice and they're willing because I paid with my currency, my social currency, to help, in this case, Carol. They're nice to me, although we don't know each other, but I'm nice to them, they're nice to me, and Carol has an opportunity to talk to the person that up to that point did not know how to get into that company. So this offer is for you, follow it.
That is a very, very generous offer, Alex.
I've been doing
Thank
this
you.
for
And
years.
just for everybody, how many people, how many connections do you have or followers do you have? 24,000, right? Or what?
How many do I have?
On LinkedIn, yeah.
I have the maximum. The maximum is 30,000. You cannot have. A few
Yeah.
days ago, I got some messages, error messages. What? Why am I getting error messages? Well, somebody wanted, I reached 30,000 and you cannot move beyond that. So I had to delete several and now I have a few openings. I
Yeah. And
constantly delete and
but what's wonderful about is what you brought up here also is that everyone here who's, participating, you guys should all link in with each other because that's the whole point is that you can then see people's second connections when you're doing a search for a company. And hopefully we're all going to be helping each other.
yeah,
Okay, so why don't we proceed with the presentation,
very,
Alex?
very well.
Okay.
Okay, it's a quick segment. Okay, build and monitor your online presence. Routinely self-Google and use AI. That's a must. That's a must. When people call me, I always ask, by the way, how did you find me? 90% of the cases, I Googled you. So that works. Evidently, I do something right. People find me on Google. Create Google Alerts. Look what I did years ago. Do you guys know what Google Alert is? It's free service. You go to Google and you put in key phrases or keywords. Every time those phrases or words come up, you get an email. I put in my name, I put in the company name, I put it, in various versions. So every so often I get, for example, I named my company Landing Expert, and landing has to do with aviation. So anytime somebody writes a sentence, it ends with the word landing, period, and the next word is expert, I get an email. So somebody used that again. So Google Alerts is very helpful. Put in your name. Every time your name is mentioned, you want to know about it. When I publish something on LinkedIn and my name is there, I'm notified. That's a tool. That's a tool for you to use and it's free. Use branded email signature with hyperlinks. This is, if you see up there, this is what I have when I send an email out. This is what you see. You see my name, you see my phone number, you see my website. You can reach me via LinkedIn, and I also have a YouTube channel. There is here Diane Hazley, my friend. She did a wonderful job. This is her signature, electronic signature. It's free. It's branding. You want to brand yourself. At the very, very least, and I insist you do that, please put your phone number. I spoke with many recruiters, and the recruiters told me one thing. Alex, if clients don't make my life nice, I drop them. Let's say they find something about you and they want to connect with you. They don't know how because you did not put your phone there. If you put your phone there, they see, oh, this is a phone, call immediately. Otherwise, they go to the next one. Okay. Use social media frequently. You may have an opinion, a negative opinion about social media, but you know what? Right now, you are in job search. You know the saying, beggars can be choosers? Right now, you need to use social media. Please use it. Learn how to use it, be effective, and use it. Also, I post 2 or 3 times a week on LinkedIn, and I made it my business. When I post on LinkedIn, I try very, very hard not to talk about me, but I talk about concepts that can help readers. I see way too many people that everything is about them and themselves. Best is talk about topics that are relevant to job seekers and not use the word I. Now, I said the differentiator is your brand. If I'm asking you from this picture to select a zebra, is it hard or is it difficult to select one zebra? Again, if you look like everybody else, they cannot find you. You need to be different and better. Branding is a mental picture you create in other people's mind. That's what branding is. It's a mental picture. Google and AI evaluates your brand for relevance and context. If you are a shoemaker, don't write about chocolate. It's irrelevant. Okay, if you're an IT person, don't write about medicine. That's not relevant. Okay, so context and relevance, very important for social media. LinkedIn is your personal website connecting with your network. It's very expensive. I have a website. It's very expensive and you need to write and you need to populate it. And LinkedIn is free. It's your website. Do with it whatever helps you get a job. A positive online brand promotes your chances of getting hired. Again, you need to have a positive brand on social media. However, negative brand results can sink you. You build your brand for years and years and years, and all of a sudden you put something up there that's negative. And I can tell you a story that I said for many, many years. My niece, actually, next week she will be 40, but I said this when she was in her late 20s. She likes to go with guys to bars and have a beer. And they take a picture of her. And she's connected with me on social media. And guess what? She's no longer connected with me. I don't want to be connected with people that are there drinking beer socially. I want to promote a positive image. I don't want to be associated with people that put themselves on social media drinking beer. So be careful what you do. This is my last slide, guys. This is your last opportunity. Again, here is my information that you can connect with me, you can call me, you can write me, whatever. I'm doing this because I want to help you. Period. That's all why I'm doing this.
Okay. Alex, thank you very much for presenting today. It was extremely helpful, and we all appreciate you lending your expertise and your time.
My pleasure.